As a small startup publishing company, you're well aware of each of the trials that come along with a new business, especially starting out in Eagle, Idaho. You guys are faced with being in a small town and not that many new authors to work with yet. So I think one of the things that could help you out the most would be really getting a better understanding of advertising and how it could help you out. After working with you for a short amount of time, I believe that I can bring a lot of skills to the table from the times I worked with Mormon.org, helping their business go from 1 million Facebook fans all the way up to 3 million Facebook fans, as well as when I worked at a few other companies as the creative director or video production executive producer, helping out with many different advertising, marketing, and public relations campaigns. So one of the things that I did for you was I kind of messed around with what I think your target audience would be. And I found out just through basic research that your primary audience would most likely be college graduates. They are most likely from BSU because BSU is in town, Boise State University. You may also have some come in from Northwest Nazarene, Boise Bible College, and College of Western Idaho out in Nampa. And then the secondary audience would be high school graduates from all over the Treasure Valley. And I think that would be a really huge benefit for you to have each of them join in on being a part of this publishing opportunity, because they are the untold, the unsung novelists that you're kind of looking for. You're looking for people who haven't had that much experience yet, and they all, they're just getting out of high school, trying to get their foot in the door in a whole ton of different companies, and that could be really beneficial. The tertiary option I came up with you for your target audience was the self-published authors, or the people who have never published before. They could be really important to your company because they may be just looking for the easiest option, and it would be great for you to be able to really help them take control of their publishing needs. And then, as you can see, we kind of broke it up into different segments. The first one I know you've been talking a lot about is you want new, young, fresh, new authors, and you want them to be really young. And then the other thing that I know you've really been stressing is you want them to be the untold authors. So people with really good stories that they're wanting to tell. And then we have fresh, which kind of goes along with young, but it just means that they're bringing all these new ideas to the table. And then we also want Boise locals, because that's where your satellite office is located. But we also want the big city locals. Because your corporate office is in New York, where there are a lot of big publishing companies, it would be great to really kind of reach out to those individuals as well who are, maybe not as interested as going with a bigger publishing company right off the bat. And then the final one we have is amateur. We have that because there are many different ways to get your word out there, but having the young people will probably mean that they're more on the beginner side of everything. And then what I also went ahead and did was I found out what your biggest competitions most likely were based on what you already have going with your first author. The first one I came up with is actually in Eagle, Idaho. It's called Aloha Publishing. And I think that they would be a really big competition for you because they're in your same neighborhood, they're going for all the same authors, and they have all the same motivation that you do. They have over 32 authors, but I'm sure that with a good campaign, you could reach out to more authors and expand your horizons. They have 8 employees, which is a little bit more than you, but not by much. And then they've been in business for 10 years. Along with the employees, one thing that was very important is they have a project manager who's really a liaison between the business owner, yourself, and the whole rest of the team. So the designers, the editors, the authors, and it really just helps to bring everything together and keep everyone on the same page and keep all the deadlines in check. And then the other big one is lulu.com. I felt that they were your probably biggest competitor, even above the Aloha Publishing, because many people will just go online to publish books, whereas you're a small local company, but if people are out of town, they may be more attracted to working with someone online, where they could really just upload all their images, upload all their PDFs and everything, and get it worked on right then, and people could help them out with that, and it could be a overall quicker process. But if you market yourself as a more personable local company, it could really help you out in the long run. They have almost 1.7 million books published. And they have huge connections with companies like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and many different coffee shops. And their last big thing was that they've been in business for more than 12 years, which is really long for the publishing industry. Some of the biggest media vehicles that you're using right now first includes word of mouth, and that's through your authors that you already have connections with, and you're establishing their books and their artwork. But as they start to tell more of their friends, they may get interested. And you're also currently talking around Boise State University, trying to get some of the young writers interested in your program. The next thing we have is social media. Recently, in the past month, you have created a Facebook and Twitter page. As your website gets launched, you'll be able to more accurately invite other fans, and you'll be able to engage them with more meaningful posts. Something important to remember is that on sites like Pinterest and Clout, you need to share things that are important to your audience and you, as well as add your own 2 cents. So don't just reshare something without saying something. That'll really tie it together and tie it to your company. And then on the right side, you can see a few vehicles I thought that your company could really benefit from. The first would be Craigslist. I know you said that that's how you actually did part of your hiring process, and Craigslist can really be beneficial looking for new young authors who are just looking to make money and have a good time doing what they love the most. Most of them would dream about being able to write their own books and get them published. Also, search engine optimization. That could really help you out, because currently when you search for an Eagle, Idaho or Boise, Idaho publisher, Aloha Publishing is one of the first ones that comes up. That's actually how I found them for this presentation. But when you go to their website, it's very clean and it has a really good presence. And if you were to pay more money and do a program with Google AdWords and pay for some of those search terms, then you would be able to, in fact, eventually beat them on when people would click on your name. You would come up first for Boise, Idaho, and publishing company. The other thing I came up with was local magazines. There are quite a few in town. The one that would probably be most beneficial would be the Eagle Insider. And because that's a local free magazine, it would be available to many people all over town. And you could even possibly publish it in different magazines around Boise. Next, I would suggest that you would make some posters for the big stands in the mall. I feel that those would be very influential, because you would be able to share your message that you're looking for new young authors in a place where many people just go to relax, or they may go to do some shopping. The last place that I would suggest you do posters would be in the library, because many people go there for research and writing, or in coffee shops. As you're well aware, many individuals go there to write and to just take a break from their daily lives. With public relations, there are many things that you could do. The first would be to have book launch parties. With your first book coming up, Frame by Justin Mitson. It would be great if you could have a big book launch party, and as soon as the first print is done, you bring a bunch of copies, and then you'd probably hold it at a local coffee shop or maybe your office, and you would invite all the friends and family, and then you could also get the word out to some of the local coffee shops and local authors. Possibly you could find them through the Facebook or LinkedIn groups for Boise authors, but you would be able to invite them and they could come and enjoy your author's new book that they're trying to promote. You may be able to even find some new young authors for your company that way. Another really beneficial thing would be to have press releases put out in the local newspapers. That would be fairly easy to put out, and you would just say a little bit roughly about what the book is, who the author is, his sort of background, and then you would be able to put that in the newspaper through a press release, and it could also gain people's interest, and then people in the community would be able to know, hey, there's this publishing company called Amberjack Publishing, and they're looking for new authors. Here's this guy, Justin Mitson, and he's doing really successful. The last thing I came up with was you could have a meet and greet for the company. This could inspire new authors to come and meet with you about their ideas, and you could find a lot of these individuals you're looking for at Boise State University. So I would suggest using flyers or small posters around campus to invite those individuals. One of the biggest things I feel your advertising and marketing, as well as public relations campaign is really lacking, is research. That could be solved easily by hiring one more individual to help out with the research team. One of the things you have talked about is your tagline. I know you're having a hard time deciding on one, and you finally went with, "Tell us your story, the world wants to know." I think that's a really good tagline, except for the biggest factor is if you went to Aloha Publishing, would that still be applicable to them? And the answer is yes. If you went to Facebook.com and said their new slogan is "Tell us the story the world wants to know," the answer would still be yes. So if you were able to create a more targeted tagline that really focuses on your company, then that could also help benefit your company immensely. Your target audience. We brushed on that in the beginning, but perhaps you could take a look at it and either switch it up or really just define what you believe as a company is your target audience. And then on the new books like Frame that you have coming out, it would be really beneficial if you could have copy testing done on those books. Some of that could be done by internal members of your team, or you could even hire a few individuals to read the book and tell you what their thoughts were on it. That could help you know if the book was going to be a success or if it needs some tweaking. Just to recap on my biggest ideas for Amberjack Publishing, first is to hire a project manager. Second, to have additional advertising through posters and other means. Then to have launch parties. Hire a researcher before you start on the creative. That's really important so you don't have wasted time, money, and efforts. And then to create a company-wide style guide to make sure you're all on the same page. Thank you for your time and your consideration. I appreciate you letting me give you this speech, and I hope that we can build together a very great advertising campaign for your company.